Hi everyone, this is my run on the Annular Equinox Annularity stage, which is the Ruthenia Plus quest level 250 on the final Garnet banner in the anniversary event. This is also going to be a no boss turn run featuring Shadow, Terra and Noctis. That being said, on hindsight, Shadow actually isn't needed at all. You can just put anyone in the party and you will literally work because I'm swapping him out on turn 1. Now this stage can be quite tricky because the orb conditional is pretty tight. The bosses start with an orb count of 8 and you actually -2 the orb count on a player action instead of the usual -1. To uptick the orb, you actually need to do some form of elemental weakness damage, but the boss is actually naturally immune to all forms of debuffs, including imperil debuffs, so that could be a little bit tricky. And you can also uptick the orb by doing some sort of bravery damage tied to a trap or effect that counts down. This party works because I set a Bartz base call on Noctis, and his base call actually provides an aura that imperils all enemies with wind imperil. And then I gave Terra a Fujin LD call, and the main reason for that is to actually enchant the entire party with wind. So this actually allows me to hit for wind elemental weakness damage, bypassing the boss's debuff immunity. The idea here is first of all to reset the fight until you get a turn order of either Noctis or Shadow going first, preferably Shadow, but Noctis works as well, and then Terra moving third in the party. So on Noctis' turn, I did the Bart's base call followed by his BT+. Don't use any additional ability because you will -2 the orb and you won't have enough room for that. On Shadow's turn, I just immediately swapped him out for Garnet, and then I go Peridot Thunder Flash into BT+ to end her turn. And coming to Terra's turn, as you can see, I just went into Fujin base call, which should complete the setup and will allow you to comfortably uptick the orb, and then I just go straight into her AA followed by burst mode. The burst mode will allow you to comfortably hit 79%, which will also trigger the orb disappearing, and this is probably the honeymoon phase of the fight because you don't have the Ruthenia orb present anymore. So it doesn't matter whether the Fujin call runs out because there's no orb, and at this point I'm just spamming meltdown followed by LD, and each attack will trigger Noctis' follow-up, and every 4 attacks I will also trigger Garnet's follow-up attack, so overall that deals a lot of damage. Meltdown is the preferred attack over Meteor, mainly because Garnet provides everyone huge brave refunds due to her burst aura, and so you will have no problem dealing maximum damage with Meltdown and maximum splash damage as well, and this leads to usually a total HP damage that's higher compared to using Meteor Plus with Terra. I usually refresh Terra's LD when her LD buff still has 1 turn remaining, and the only reason for that is to keep the turn count at 2. If you're not too fast with the turn count, you can also just refresh the buff when her LD buff has run out. Do take note though that if you do that, then each time you use Terra's LD, the turn count will increase by 1. In any case, there is a lot of flexibility here. My party is fully decked out, including ultimate weapon on Noctis and blue armors on everyone, but really there's a lot of room here that you don't really need it. That was the reason why I brought in Shadow. The idea here is that once Garnet finishes her friend support, Shadow can just come in and mop up the fight, and at that point Shadow himself will be dealing wind elemental damage because Terra will have the Fujin LD call up. That being said, I realized that the fight actually ended before Garnet even left the battlefield, so Shadow wasn't needed. So just quick mention about alternative options while Terra is spamming her LD meltdown barrage. In terms of call abilities, for both the Bartz and Fujin call, you don't really need their LD calls to be honest, so if you don't have them, just use their base call, which everyone should have access to and you should be fine. For Noctis, he's not really important. I think any turn hogger should do, Although your DPS will likely be lower because my Noctis has his ultimate weapon, you just want someone who can do often damage every time Terra hits meltdown, and that unit should work. So Cloud of Darkness, Core would be other potential options as well. This is Terra's final LD, so at this point I'm just finishing up all her free turns to deal as much damage as I can, and then after that, that's where the Ifrit summon will come in. So this is the final free meltdown. Now before going into summon, what I did is just use Terra's additional ability followed by the Fujin LD call. The additional ability really is just there to uptick Garnet's overhead, and then the Fujin's LD call is to re-enchant the entire party with Wind Elemental again, so that you can easily uptick the orb. So that at this point, even if Garnet leaves the field and Shadow comes in, Shadow can just spam his multiple consecutive turns and end the fight that way very comfortably as well. He will also be hitting for Wind Elemental weakness damage because of the Bartz base call on Noctis and the Fujin LD call on Terra. Inside summon, it's important to use Noctis's LD on his final turn inside summon. This buffs the entire party with Warp Step and allow you to continue damaging the bosses after summon mode without increasing the turn count, and also to turn manipulate your party after summon mode so that the bosses will continue not getting their turns. So anyway, that's it for this fight. Pretty simple with this party overall. As always, I hope the video has been helpful, and if you do like the content, please leave a like, comment or subscribe. It really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Lufenia Plus fight. Bye!